And in the Middle East, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun has appointed Nawaf Salam, the presiding judge at the International Court of Justice in The Hague, as Prime Minister, following consultations with lawmakers. The announcement was made by Antoine Kocher, Director General of the Lebanese Presidency, who confirmed that President Aoun's he's officially tasked, Judge Salam with forming a new government after consulting with the Speaker of the House of Representatives. This marks the end of a 2-year presidential vacuum and a government operating in a caretaker capacity. Observers hope this new leadership will steer the crisis-hit nation towards stability and recovery.
أجرى السيد رئيس جمهورية العماد جوزيف عون الاستشارات النيابية الملزمة اليوم الاثنين الواقع فيه 13 كانون الثاني 2025، وبعد أن تشاور مع السيد رئيس مجلس النواب وأطلعه على نتائجها رسميا، استدعى رئيس الجمهورية القاضي نواف سلام لتكليفه تشكيل الحكومة. إذا بدكم تعرفوا النتيجة، القاضي نواف سلام 84، السيد الرئيس محمد نجيب مئاتي 9، عدم تسمية.
So to further discuss this and the implications of Nawaf Salam's appointment as Lebanon's Prime Minister, we're joined by international analyst Bolu Michael-Biyi. Bolu, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Good. So how will Salam's appointment affect Hezbollah's grip on power in Lebanon? Let's start there, considering the group's opposition to his designation.
But I would say that Hezbollah does not really have that much grip on power. Let's not forget the recent attack on Hezbollah, led by U.S. and Israeli forces. The walkie-talkie bombing and all that, which took out the leaders of Hezbollah, as well as several members of that. I think one more major attack may have actually wiped out the entire Hezbollah set. So I think their power or influence on government has significantly reduced, compared to how it was. So I think that the emergence of Salam actually further weakens the powers or the grip of Hezbollah, being that Salam is not apologetic to their plight, is not aligned to their interest in any way. So I feel the fact that Hezbollah could not even influence his emergence negatively shows that they didn't have the capacity to or much influence on the outcome of his emergence, and that's a sign that Hezbollah does not really have that power or grip to even influence the government's formation process that is coming ahead.
So what are the chances of Salam implementing meaningful reforms in Lebanon, given his reputation as a reformist and his experience as a judge at the International Court of Justice?
Well, I'll say moderate in the sense that, he's still facing challenges here and there in terms of different sects and division internally. But when you look at his background, coming from the ICJ, it shows a level of commitment to international law and rule of law. And a person wouldn't go far in their career at the level of ICJ if they are not, in some way committed to justice and rule of law. So I think overall his success will depend on how he's able to form a balanced coalition. His success will depend on how he's able to bring people together, different sects together, and ensure that he has a cooperative cabinet.
And how do you think Salam will navigate Lebanon's complex confessional power-sharing system, particularly given the lack of Shia support for his appointment?
Okay, well, I think one major thing is if he goes against it might lead to further polarization if he doesn't stick to the terms of the power sharing agreement that they are used to from time. I think his biggest challenge would be how to balance his cabinet, and he might need to make certain concessions in order to be able to absorb the Shia sect. It's not about just having representation, but about balancing it. For example, if you have, 30 slots, and you have three groups. A group is having 15, another is having 10, and another is having 5. Fine, there are 30, but one group has power over the other. So what will make a balance is if each group has 10 slots. So it's not about having all the groups being represented in his cabinet, but about balancing them. And I think that's really going to be the test of his power and influence on how we can be able to reach a consensus between these groups.
So do you think his appointment will affect regional stability?
I think so. I think the first influence would be from his Western allies, who are likely to show a level of cautious optimism. Fine, they might be happy that, okay, for the first time in a long while, Lebanon is having what I would call a proper leadership. But then they will still be cautious in the sense that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Being a top ICJ judge is different from being a prime minister. The levels of power and the kind of difference. So they'll still be having some level of cultural optimism in a way. So, but considering his background in the ICJ, I think he would do well in terms of commitment to rule of law. I don't see him facing any major challenge because his emergence, it's sort of a miracle to me. Imagine without Hezbollah and Shia is quite a miracle. So I think he'll do well.
Well, Bolu Michael-Biyi, thank you very much for joining us this evening and giving us your expert opinion on the matter. Thank you.